Ah, comic strips. Since their inception in 1896, comic strips have been a wonderful source of humor for people of all ages. Even if you never found the jokes laugh out loud funny, they were always nice to read, and the vibrant color and dynamic art styles from all the cartoonists provided something nice to look at when reading the morning paper. I will always have fond memories of going to my grandma's and reading each strip one by one while I ate my breakfast in the morning. And without a doubt, comic strips have provided us with some of the most iconic and recognizable characters ever. Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes, Dilbert, Archie, Charlie Brown, all characters that are fondly remembered by millions upon millions of people and will all be remembered long after their cultural relevance has since passed. Even today, after the age of newspaper has come and gone, comic strips still find life in webcomics, with dozens of artists injecting their own unique charm into the medium. Randawis, Odd Ones Out, Shubabang, Pet Foolery, Shen Comics, and tons more I failed to mention. All of these artists are providing comics that are chock full of humor and personality, and I believe they've gone a long way in reminding us how great comic strips can be. And then, there's Blobby and Friends. Bunch of power-trippin' douchebags. Blobby and Friends is a webcomic series that revolves around Blobby, a blobfish that is in constant pain and suffering due to immense change and pressure it went through to be brought to the surface, and its friends. I don't know their names, and I don't care. So why have I decided to make a video about Blobby and Friends instead of any other webcomic that's 1,000 times better? Well, you see, in case you didn't know, instead of using their webcomic to make jokes with punchlines and setups and likable characters, they went against the norm and used their webcomic to push their own beliefs and ideals. Horribly. Now, Blobby and Friends is not the first or the last comic that has or will do this. Political cartoons have been going on since the 1700s. One of the more recent comparisons to Blobby and Friends is Anonymous Asexual, or better known as Toothpaste Head. Much like Blobby and Friends, their comics existed solely to push their own ideals, and basically nothing else. Now, to be fair, in the case of Blobby and Friends, their comics that just exist to push their own ideals make up about 10% of all their comics. The rest consists of jokes and all that jazz. Heck, one I actually found pretty humorous, I will admit. But even still, I would like to focus on that 10% and illustrate how stupid it was and what happened when that 10% found its way to a, certain app and how that app responded. So after a very long intro, one that I know just had everyone on the absolute edge of their seats, without further ado, let's dive right in. Probably one of the most infamous of their comics is the one saying that all cops are bastards, where Blobfish says just that. Someone tries to refute it. Blobfish responds by providing 1 point, and that's it. Great stuff, good read. There's a few gender fluidity comics that are just that, the characters exclaiming they can be what they want to be. Now, I'm going to remain neutral and unbiased in this video when it comes to their viewpoints, but I would like to immediately go against that and go on record at saying that I disagree with both of these beliefs. But you know, that's okay. People are allowed to have different viewpoints on life. That's totally true. And even if people disagree, I believe it's good to stay civil and act humanely towards each other. Which is not what Blobby and Friends did. Blobby and Friends decided that the best course of action to convey how they felt towards people who didn't agree with their ideology or just didn't understand it was by responding with physical violence and death threats. Almost every one of their viewpoint-pushing comics have this. Character says something that upsets Blobby and Friends, respond by brandishing a knife and threatening them. This is not how you go about displaying your idealistic opinions on the internet. It's just idiotic. They're a bunch of power-tripping losers who took having arguments against no one in the shower to another level. They have to cope with the fact that they're the human equivalent of a soggy tissue by making comics that hold their beliefs on this platinum pedestal, and anyone to disagree is just simply wrong and should be punished by death. It sucks too, really, because some of their comics have genuine problems being conveyed in them. Men can be sexually harassed. Catcalling women might make them uncomfortable. These are both actual problems that many people suffer with, but the way they show the characters dealing with it is horrible, fictional or otherwise. Never in a million years will violently threatening the other side help in your efforts to promote your beliefs, and just makes other people who might share your beliefs worse looking by proxy. But hey, if the folks who made Blobby and Friends didn't care about how their comics would make the other side look and just wanted to make themselves feel better by power tripping, then I give you a swift middle finger and wish unfortunate events to happen to you throughout the rest of your life on Earth. Like minuscule stuff though, such as stubbing your toe every day. Nothing too crazy. I'm not a masochist or a weirdo. So that's why their comics suck, at least the ones I focused on. But what do you get when you take those comics and put them on a social media platform where a majority of its users heavily disagree with everything Blobby and friends stand for, well, you get some magic. That's what you get. You want to horribly portray your beliefs through comics? That's cool. Here's edits of your comics with your characters getting killed, raped, or both. Was it the right course of action? Probably not, but it was poetic justice to the highest degree. If you want to make garbage comics that do nothing more than service your inflated ego just so you can suck yourself off afterwards, then people will do their best to take you down a peg. And you know what? I think it worked. Something tells me that the creators of Blobby and Friends aren't the kind of people that can brush aside something like their characters getting brutally murdered. Just a hunch. And hey, I checked their Twitter, and they're not really making comics of that sort anymore. But who knows? Maybe they saw all the edits people were making and genuinely weren't affected. But even if that was the case, it was still pretty darn funny. And with that all said, I'm Easily Easy, and I'll see you next time.